Hello there and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to be bringing you another 311 palette of the week, and today's featured palette is the Too Faced Born This Way the Natural Nudes palette. Also, to change things up a little bit, as you know, if you've watched any of these before, I always share with you the cheek and lip combination for each look. Well, I decided I wanted to create more quick and easy looks and use pared down number of products. So I am only going to be using one cheek palette for all three looks, and I'm also going to be using just some kind of combination of these three lip products for each of the eye looks. So if you like the three looks here and you own this palette, you'll only need a couple of other products to complete each of these looks. Now, just a little bit briefly about this palette, if you don't already own it, it is filled with 16 eyeshadows, 8 mattes and 8 shimmers, and this palette was specifically designed to kind of enhance any skin tone. They seem to just kind of morph according to your undertone of your skin. So on me, some of these pinks actually come out a little more warmer pink, but on my best friend who has cooler skin tones, those kind of come out a little more cooler pink. It's crazy. The other thing that Too Faced did that's different with this is they infused these eyeshadows with 3 really great ingredients. One is coconut water, one's alpine rose, and the other is hyaluronic acid. So all good ingredients to help with the moisture levels, help with the smoothing of the eyelids, so I appreciate that. Now I'll pop up on the screen here some swatches. There are a couple of the shimmer shades that are a little bit flaky, and I would say in general the shimmer shades in this palette do better if applied with finger or a wet brush. The mattes, however, in this palette are probably among the most buttery smooth of any of the Too Faced shadows that I've experienced. So that might be the addition of those great ingredients, I don't know. But overall, I have enjoyed this palette. This to me is the palette that I pull out if I have very little time to get ready. I have no idea what I want to wear, and so I know I need something pretty neutral. This is the palette that is my go-to. It's so quick and easy, and pretty much everything works with everything else in this palette. So if you're somebody who struggles to pair colors and different things together, I think you'd really enjoy this. Now, we're going to get into the 3 looks, and each of these looks, I really tried to make them super easy to replicate. So I hope that you enjoy this, and let's now get into look number 1. For all 3 looks, I'm going to use the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. I haven't used this in forever, but I thought, hey, since a lot of the other products I'm using are from Too Faced, let's just go back to that. All right, so going to the palette, I'm going to use the Sigma E50 and mostly dip into this and then just a tap into this. So Swan and a tap into Seashell, and I'm going to use that just under the brow. Maybe go back with just a little bit of Swan right up under the arch there. Taking the Morphe M504, I'm going to go into Nude, and I'm going to put this all through the crease and just doing circular motions, depositing most of the product here in the outer corner, and then just blending it up slightly. Make sure there's no harsh lines there. Next, we're going to go in with our lid shade, and we're using Sparkling Sand. I'm going to apply this with my finger. I think the shimmers in this palette definitely apply best with your finger or a wet brush. So we'll be doing that in a later look, but today I think we can, for this look, we can just use our finger. And I'm applying that almost all the way across the lid, just leaving the very outer corner bare. All right, I've changed my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and just go over that with a wet brush, just using a little setting spray. And this is just going to help kind of smooth that metallic shade over and make it pop just a little bit more. Next, I'm going to take the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pin in Black Caviar, and I am just going to run a very thin line here from the center and working towards the outer corner of the eye. And then I'm going to take the Morphe M165, and I am just going to kind of go over the top edge of that liner just to smudge it out a little bit. And then we're going to go in with one final color from our palette. We're going to go in with the dark brown, which is Truffle, and I'm using the BK Beauty 203. And I'm just going to tap a little bit of this right in the outer corner, and then just kind of go down over that liner. And then with what's left on the brush, flick it up towards the crease and above the crease just slightly. And if you need to, just go back with a little more of nude on that M504 and just blend that outer edge. In the lower lash line, I'm just going to use a little bit of nude on this e.l.f. smudge brush. You can use just any pencil brush you have. I just want a little bit of some shadow down here. Nothing too dramatic. And then right here in the very outer corner, we'll go in with Truffle, just right up against the lash line. Concealer and mascara are on. In the spirit of keeping it simple, I'm only going to use the Thrive Cosmetics mascara for all three looks, no primer or anything. All right, now to finish up the face, I did add a little contour, but for bronzer and blush, we are going to go into the Sugar Peach palette. We're also going to use this for highlights, so we're keeping it simple. I'm going to use the BK Beauty 104, and I'm going to go in first with a little bit of the shade Peach Honey. I'm going to put this on the backs of the cheeks, and just going to use this to kind of warm up our cheeks first. And then I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to dip into Peach Honey and a little bit of Sugared Peach. So Peach Honey and then a little bit of Sugared Peach. Tap off the excess because this one has a little bit of some glitter particles, but they do tap off nicely. And then just blend, and you can see these are quite pigmented, so a little goes a long way. For highlighter, I'm going to use the MAC 140 fan brush and Peach Pearl. This is one of my all-time favorite highlighters. It's so intense and beautiful. And then I'm going to also use that as our inner corner highlight. Put a little bit on my finger first. And then I will use the Sigma E30 and use a little bit more just to blend it into our lid shade. Then I'm just going around the edge of my lips with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. And for our lip combination, I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in 1993. And then I'm going to fill in my lips just slightly with that pencil. And you want to make sure your lips are really good and moisturized before you do that. And then I'm going to top it with the Huda Lip Strobe in Angelic. And here's our finished look. So nothing too dramatic, everything's neutral, goes well with my dark emerald shirt, but I feel polished, ready to go to work or check into a Zoom call or whatever the day may hold. All right, now let's go on to look number 2. All right, round number 2, I've already primed my eyes, and now I'm gonna go in mostly with just Swan on the E50, right under the brow. Taking the M504, now we're gonna go in with this lighter pink shade. It's called Petal, and I'm going to use the M504 just to fluff this all through the crease. And this is one of those shades that I think, depending on your skin tone, can come across either a little warmer or cooler. On me, it comes across as like the perfect light kind of warm pink. It's not too cool. I love it. Now we're going to go to the lash line, and I'm going to use the same pencil, the Black Caviar from Pixie, and I am going to put this, I'm going to do about 3/4 of the way across, and just keeping it really close to the lash line. And then on the outer corner, just going to go up slightly here. And then I'm going to use the EB21 from Sedona Lace. And now I'm just really going to smudge that liner, but I'm staying inside here, not winging it out. Okay, then we're going to keep with that same brush, and I'm going to go in now with Cocoa, which is the cooler of the two kind of mid-tone browns in the palette. And I am now just going to go right over the top of that liner, and I'm going to stop about 2/3 of the way across. Just really work that down towards the lashes. Just help further kind of soften the look of that line. All right, now taking the BK Beauty 206 brush, we're going to go in now with Warm Rose, and I'm just going to use this as kind of our darker outer corner color, and this is hopefully going to just tie our lash line and our crease color and our future lid color all together. We're going to keep this look in kind of more the pink family, neutral pinks. And then I'm going to go back to that EB21 just with a little bit of Truffle, just to kind of help fade that liner into the outer corner there. All right, it's time for our lid shade, and this time I think we're just going to go straight in with the brush, and then we will wet the brush. I'm going to use Rose Gold, which is a beautiful rose gold. I'm going to coat both sides of the brush with that shadow, and then use my setting spray and apply the shadow wet to the lid. And this time I'm not going all the way to the outer corner. I'm keeping it about just a little bit past the halfway point. And then I'll take my finger and go in with a little bit of Sparkling Plum. And we're gonna just put this right in the center of the lid, kind of tap over, kind of help marry that shimmer shade with the outer corner matte shades. All right, for the lower lash line, we're going to go back with our pencil, and I am just going to put this about halfway across, or maybe even, yeah, about 1/3 of the way across down here. Smudge it out with your finger. And then with the Morphe M165, I'm going to go over the top of it with that sparkling rum shade. And then add a little bit of warm rose kind of on the inner half of that lower lash line. Okay, so after adding contour and mascara and all that, I'm going to go in now with this pink blush in here. It's called Peach Pop on the 104 from BK Beauty. And I'm going to just lightly put this on kind of the tops of the cheeks and work back towards the temples. And this blush definitely has a lot of glow to it. And then I'm just gonna barely tap my brush in Sugared Peach and then back in Peach Pop, tap off, and just add a little more color there to the cheeks. Add a little bit of highlighter, even though we really have a lot glowing on. Dear. All right, and then as before, I'm going to start with my E30 and a little bit of Peach Pearl on the inner corner of the eye, and just going to kind of brighten up that inner corner and then pull that shimmer onto the lid ever so slightly. For this look, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go around the edge of the lips with this Lancome lip liner, and this is Go Universal, and it's basically a clear lip liner. I'm going to go on the outside edge of my natural lip line, and I am testing this out, but I actually think this might actually work better than the MAC Soft Oak Paint Pot, but I'll let you know. And then I'm gonna just tap that in. Now I'm gonna go in first with my lipstick. I know, I never do this, but I'm using Fabby, and this is a beautiful shimmery pink color. And now I'm going to take my lip liner, the 1993, and just go around the edge and add a little definition and warmth. Okay, I just blot my lips a little bit, and now we're going to add a little bit of gloss. And I think that adds the perfect amount of gold to kind of warm up the lips. And here is our finished look. So we have just that hint of kind of rosiness on the eyes, and then by bringing in the pink lip and the pink cheeks, I think it helps everything tie together well. All right, now it's time for look number 3. All right, after priming my lids for the third look, again, we're gonna start with a little bit of Swan and then add a little bit of Seashell. So just using the Sigma E50 for that. So Swan first, then a little Seashell just below it. And then we're gonna go in the crease with Cocoa and the M504. This is darker than I normally put in the crease first, but that's why we took that Seashell shade through. This is going to be a little bit more of a dramatic look, but still neutral. And I'm going to take this about 2/3 of the way across, so stopping about right here. Then I'm gonna go in with just a touch of nude on the inner part here. Okay, we're gonna dress the outer corner first, and so we're going to go into Truffle, and I'm using the 203 from BK Beauty. And I'm just putting this on the very, very outermost part because this is the part where I don't want to bring the shimmer shade into this outer corner. I'm going to use the shimmer shade over the entire lid, but I want to avoid this very outermost part here. So just bringing that up and going past my actual crease just slightly, and almost kind of like I'm drawing a straight line up and then over. And then I'm going to go in with the BK Beauty 206 and just cleanly just kind of blend the edge of that, and then add a little bit of cocoa right above that just to soften it, blend it out. All right, so what I did over here is I took the 203 and going in now with Sparkling Sable. This is such a pretty shade. I'm gonna tap off the excess. And now I'm going to fill in starting from kind of where the outer corner shade ends, and just pressing this on the lid. Even though it has shimmer, it's very, very soft and subtle. But it just picks up the light ever so slightly. And then I'm gonna leave that inner corner open for now, go back with the 206 and just a little bit of cocoa and just blend right on top through the crease there. And now for the inner corner, going back to the E60, and I'm gonna load up my brush with Glistening Snow. And then I am going to spritz it with some setting spray and press this on the inner, just really kind of the innermost part of the corner here. I'm going to go in with my finger just so I can get right in there with the most pigment. There we go. And then where that light shade and the dark shade meet, we're going to go over it with a little bit of Sugared Chestnut, just right where those two colors meet, and it just automatically kind of helps fade one color into the next. Okay, and you could leave it like this, but I just want to add one extra little touch, and I'm going to go in with Sparkling Rum on my finger, and I'm just going to tap this over the lid there, and that is just going to bring in a little more life as the light hits it. So it's not really altering the color, the base color, but it's really just adding a nice little bit more of sparkle. Okay, then I'm going to take the black caviar liner on the lower lash line. So the advantage of doing a really dark smoky look on the top is usually you can skip liner up there. You could add it if you want to, but I'm going to skip it today. And then I'm going to take the Morphe M165, and I'm first going to take a little bit of Sugared Chestnut kind of on the outer half. Not really pressing this into the lashes, but kind of just below where that liner ends. Then I'm going to take a little bit of cocoa and just kind of soften this inner part here. All right, after mascara and contour, it's time to warm up the face. I'm going to go in first with Peach Honey and the BK Beauty 103, and I am going to use this on the tops of my cheeks, and I am actually going to bring this forward, and this is going to be our blush for today. But I want to be careful and not go overboard. We want some color on the cheeks, but not too much. We're keeping the cheeks real neutral. And then I'm going to take just a tiny little bit of Peach Pearl and only put this just on the very top of the cheeks, right there, cheekbone I should say. and then a little bit on the bridge of the nose and the Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to take a tiny little bit on the inner corner and blend a little bit of it in with the E30 from Sigma. And then for our lips, I'm going to start off with the Lancome La Lip in Universal 00. All right, then we're going to go around the edge of the lips with the 1993 lip liner by Urban Decay. And this time I'm keeping it really to the line, and I'm just going very lightly. And then I'll just tap around the edge of the lips. So it should just look pretty nude, but with a defined edge. And then we're gonna add our gloss. So again, with the Huda Beauty Angelic, and just a little bit. So going in with less than the first time, or the first look, I should say, so that it's a soft kind of gold glow, but looks a little more neutral. Now I'm just going to go back with my brush here, my kind of bronzer blush brush here. Just make sure I've got enough color there. All right, here's our finished look. And it is super dark and dramatic, but I think it's perfect for a night out or a special occasion. And even though it is dramatic, it's still neutral. So it will go with basically whatever color you are wearing. And then by paring down the lip color and the cheek color, it still keeps it from being too crazy. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you own this palette, I hope that you now have some new ideas of looks to try. And also I hope that you enjoyed this pared down products version of this 311. If you have a palette that you would like me to do 3 looks with, please make sure to list that in the comment section below. Also, I'd love to hear which look was your favorite. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.